By the way, Sitso is here. Hi, Sitso. How are you?
By the way, Al Hilal beat us 2-0 yesterday.
You and who?
In the
who?
Riyadh Cup.
You and who?
Anase. I'm a fan of Anase, but they beat us.
Did you see the video of Ronaldo saying that I'm here, not Messi?
Yes, he's here, not Messi.
Why is he so obsessed with Messi?
Why are the fans screaming Messi, Messi when he's playing?
That's the way of getting under his skin.
And
I absolutely love that.
And he's telling them, he also loves, he's telling them that he's the one there, not Messi. So they should go to MLS and watch Messi in Inter Miami finishing last in the.
But they saw him and started chanting Messi. It's not like we don't know that he's there.
When Messi was in China, the Chinese were booing him when he came onto the pitch.
But he didn't say I'm here, not Ronaldo, did he?
But he can't speak English.
So he can't say that in Spanish.
He can't say that. Maybe he said it right, I don't know.
But he's in China. Why does he need English?
What?
He's in China. He doesn't need English.
But Ronaldo was in Saudi. Why did he say it in English?
It's the language he understands. So Messi could have said it
maybe he said
in Spanish.
But you can't read. You can't read lip Spanish.
But there's a Messi video where he's telling the fans, "Hey, Bobo, hey, Bobo." Is that? Oh wait, is another player?
Lagos.
To be fair, Messi says he understands the English, he just doesn't like speaking.
Yeah.
Oh, it's hard to speak it.
And I like that. He's consistently stuck to his language.
Yeah, of course.
He's not trying to.
It's not by force.
He's a big man. He's above language. In fact, if
so he doesn't need the language to be marketed, right?
He's above it.
Yes.
In fact, all the others who are speaking the English need to then translate to Spanish to hear Messi speak. He doesn't need to speak English for them to hear him.
Yes.
He's above it.
Yeah.
That is how supreme he is. Brilliant guy, top guy, supremely good.
And to be fair, in terms of global nature, Spanish is one of the. I think it's probably like the second or maybe the third.
Probably could be third.
Most widely spoken.
Yeah.
Not with the most speakers. So people confuse those two things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The most widely spoken language is English.
Yeah.
But the language with the most speakers is Mandarin.
Because of
you get a difference.
Yeah, I get a difference.
You get a difference.
Yeah. Because you can have a language being spoken by many people, but all these people are concentrated in one space.
There you
but
go.
English is spread across, and everybody across the globe is speaking it.
There you go. So the most widely spoken language in the world is English. But the language with the most speakers is Mandarin.
Wow.
It's Mandarin. China.
Wow.
It's like
billions
of people.
Where does Arabic rank there?
Arabic, most widely spoken.
No, not widely spoken, but
with most speakers.
When you look
I think Arabic is like, it's probably like the number 4.
Can we look at a big chunk of, the Gulf coming into nothing?
Are you talking most speakers?
Africa?
So most speakers definitely would be Mandarin, followed by
English.
And then the rest of the sport.
Maybe French.
Maybe French.
I
think
maybe
maybe
could have
Spanish.
Arabic.
Because the whole of South America, if you take out Brazil, everyone else speaks
Spanish.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then Spain itself.
And
the whole of Latin America.
Yeah.
So I'm talking Costa Rica, and
Puerto
Rico. Even though they don't have Cuba,
Spanish,
exactly. All of them are also Spanish.
Yeah. And some African countries speak Spanish. So one.
Equatorial
Guinea.
Yes. They are the only African country that speaks Spanish.
Right.
My linguistics lecturer will be very proud of me.
I think so.
But I still remember.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
Oh, God. Anyway, this is not a language class. It's sports. Muftawu Nabil Abdullah is here with me as well in studio. Muftawu, how are you?
I see you, yes. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, very well, very well. Here's the thing. I found a
most spoken language.
Yeah, and this one actually says English has overtaken Mandarin
in widely
in total number of speakers.
Okay, the Mandarin is second.
Yes. So total number of speakers, which would make sense.
That total number of speakers is different from.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Yeah, total number of speakers. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
That's why I said earlier. I said Mandarin was number 1.
Yeah.
But I'm looking here now, and it says English, and I'm saying it would make sense because the English speakers will only ever keep growing.
And that's also
and
because
the Mandarin speakers aren't growing.
And the Mandarin speakers are now speaking a lot of the English.
There you go.
Because they started exporting themselves a lot more. And then lots of them
so it would make
have
sense.
diluted, so.
This one says they have 1.4 billion speakers English.
Right.
1.4 billion total speakers. Mandarin is still second with 1.1
That's incredibly
billion.
close. That's incredibly close. And if our thinking is right, and a lot of those from China are speaking English, so maybe it's adding to the English number. That's still wild.
Ooh, number 3 is interesting. This will make sense actually.
What?
Hindi.
Oh yes. Yes.
India,
Well,
right?
How can we do processing?
I
Because,
know, right?
India, really.
But to be fair, India is like Africa
not only
in a
India.
sense. India is like Africa in a sense, in that it's not just Hindi that
Yeah.
they speak there.
Yeah.
There's the people, the those in that's from Kerala. The language is not Hindi. They speak
Something else.
Kerala. They speak Kerala. That's what they call it.
Mm.
And there are many as well. But here, this one says Hindi has 602 million total speakers.
Right.
Both of that's like half the number of the English speakers.
Yeah.
And then Spanish is number 4.
Yeah, as we
with
predicted.
559.
Where does French rank?
Standard Arabic is 274.
Yeah, I knew Arabic should be up there.
Yeah.
Arabic, when you look at the number of Arabic should be up there, really.
Yeah. And then you have French at number 6
Okay.
at 274.
Cheese number 7, yeah.
Wait, please. No, number 7 is Bengali, which is also spoken in India.
India. Okay.
And that's 273 million speakers. Then there's Russian. Russian would make sense because the Soviet Union.
It was huge, and still speak Russia across
all of them.
Parts of Ukraine speak
Yeah.
Russia. Russia itself.
So how many people speak Mampruli or Wala or
Sisala. Now you have to go and count with your hand. But it's there because we just did a census, right?
Yeah.
So you can find it.
Yeah,
But ever speakers will be plenty
Ever speakers.
because in Ghana, the whole of Togo, a big part of Benin.
You just said you said in Ghana,
Ghana?
comma.
the whole of Togo.
You see, punctuation is important.
Yes.
The way you said in Ghana, the whole of Togo.
No, I said in Ghana. In Ghana, comma.
I'm not.
So the way I landed, the way I landed, you didn't hear me.
The voice needed to drop.
I dropped it in
So that's what I'm saying.
Ghana.
I didn't hear
That's the
the
comma.
I didn't hear the
Ah,
pause.
okay. In Ghana.
Yes. So now
The whole of Togo?
I have to mentally put the comma there.
Great. So
Okay.
in Ghana,
Thank you.
the whole of Togo,
Thank you.
the whole of Benin.
Okay.
The whole.
Yeah.
The whole of Benin.
Yeah, ever is
No, but not the
across.
whole of Benin. Part of Benin.
Not to say everybody speaks it.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
in Togo, not everybody, but
Yeah, exactly.
It's
So the whole of
okay.
is wrong.
Okay,
Part
so
of.
a big part of Benin.
Big part.
A big part of Benin.
Part of Benin.
Okay, part of Benin.
Thank you.
And part of
a part of Togo.
and there are some parts of Nigeria.
Oh, okay. That's
So that's very wide.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Wow.
Yeah. No, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
That's
It's
actually a
lot.
good number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you put a number on how many languages you think exist in Africa?
Oh come on, no, I cannot do that.
You know how many languages are in Ghana?
In Ghana, over 50 something languages.
Yeah,
54 languages.
I think so.
54
When I
or so.
when I was in primary school, it was 49.
Why we've discovered some more. Eh?
You see, the
When
thing
you
is,
were in primary school,
yes.
which year was this?
Oh, I'm talking like
You
90s.
don't
huh?
care.
But
You
you
see
see,
the
my
time-
linguistics class taught me that languages are dying. So I'm
Oh, yeah,
quite
that's
surprised. I'm quite surprised that somehow we seem to have more languages in Ghana now. Some of it might actually be maybe a bit of Creole, like a mixture of two languages. You know, as intermarriages and all those things happen. You know, and we merge. I thought, or maybe people are adding Pidgin.
Yeah.
Pidgin is just like is a lingua franca kind of.
It's a stopgap language.
Yeah,
used to
so it's an
communicate.
amalgamation of languages.
Yeah.
There are 3,000 languages in Africa alone. 3,000. Gary Al Smith, which of them do you speak, or how many of them do you speak?
Ghana tree. Then English.
You mean the Pidgin or the Creole? Which one?
No. How many of the 3,000 African languages do you speak?
That should be approximately 4.
How do you approximate languages, my brother? It's a definite number. You understand or you don't understand?
Exactly. But I like the discussion, even though it's not a linguistics program. And I would actually say that, do you know how many languages are in the Volta region alone, to begin with?
That is a wild question. If I'm going to put a guess on
Can you
it,
guess?
Volta region, I would say 8.
Yeah.
So there's Ebe, right?
Okay.
Which is, but you see there are in there that are not exactly Ebe.
Yeah.
Right, so the
Do
one,
they are
the
they
one is the one. Yeah.
Hold on, are they
But then
Muftawu?
there are a few in there that, so when those people speak their sub-dialects, what do I say? How do I put this? I didn't want, not the real, no, what do you call the main ever people, right? You know what I'm saying? The
Anglo people.
normal ever people don't understand, but those people understand ever. So it's like people nowadays who understand Ga, but we real Ga people, like we don't understand Ga, you know, that sort of thing.
I guess.
So where John Dumelo comes from, right, is the Lipe traditional area, and in the Lipe distinct dialects there. Very distinct. That if you are ever like Sitso, you won't understand. If they speak, you understand. But they get ever, you understand. So one of them is called Sekpele. Say it after me. Sekpele.
Sepele.
And it's complete. And that's what. So if you speak that to John Dumelo, he would understand. That's the language of the Lipe people. So it's very interesting what this discussion we are having, because in some of the areas, so like I'm in Cote d'Ivoire now, I'm in Abidjan now, I understand that the bulk of the Eczema are in Cote d'Ivoire, right, and then the minor. But even within the Eczema, I learned only yesterday, that there are a few sub-dialects in the Eczema language as well. So it's all rather interesting, and I think that as Africans, what we have not done, and I came to this conclusion yesterday when I was watching Vladimir Putin's interview, and I'm sure you've seen it on social media. Look, what we have not done, as with many of our things, not just language, is we have not documented our languages. And so I saw a study by the UN, not UNFPA, one of these, not UNICEF as well, one of these UN agencies, about how African languages die faster on the average than the European languages, and that because the Asians and the Europeans at least make an effort. They have whole universities that study the etymology, all those things about the languages, and at least try and document them, while we in Africa rely on passing it on from generation to generation, mother to her children, father to the children. And so if one patriarch or matriarch dies in a family, it is possible that he might take an entire or 2 or 3 generations worth of language along with them. And then you see that those of us who are left behind. So you see it a lot. I mean, I can vouch that Sitso, your ever is not elective ever. Just like me, I'm not an elective guy. I speak. When I enter places like Jamestown and I enter inside Labadi, Osu proper, I soon realize, I can be speaking to a 15-year-old and I realize that the guy they speak, it is a Polish guy. Because when I listen to Obonu FM, I feel like a learner. I feel like I don't even understand my own language,
Yeah. No, let me rephrase it for you
know
guys.
What I mean, guys?
Yeah, when you tune into Obonu FM, you feel like an idiot.
Charlie, it's crazy, man. When I watch Obonu TV as well. And these days, I have to give it to you. GTV is undergoing a massive transformation. But as a guy, when I or to Obonu TV and I watch the programming, there's a very deliberateness about. I don't know what they are doing there, but whatever they are doing is very, very nice. Like it's for me who has lived in the city and I've never lived in a village before. Rather unfortunately, I always tell my mother that it's something she didn't try with. I wish I had lived in a village. So when you guys, I've told you before, friends, when you guys are speaking and Muftawu are speaking about village life and Sadiq and Sadiq, I feel like, hey, Charlie, I've missed a lot, pal. Because I can be listening to some of these stations and they are talking about very typically Ga things and I have no clue because I grew up in, freaking Roman Rage and Laboni and things like that.
You see, that's like people.
Discussion we are having.
This is a child of privilege who is looking down on his privilege.
Get away.
Let me just tell you a quick one. I came across an Enzima in Abidjan. He was called Momo.
He
was called what?
Momo.
Momo, that was his name. I guess how I met him. My extension cord had a problem, and I couldn't charge because in Abidjan, their sockets are different from the ones we use here. They use
a round pin.
Yes, they use a round pin. So I wanted to fix the extension cord. So I came across this gentleman who could speak a bit of English, and I was like, oh, yeah, I was speaking the pidgin French. You're gonna help me. So he told me his name was Momo. I said, Momo, if you come to Ghana, I'm supposed to give you money when you mention Momo. He started laughing. In fact, he mentioned his second name. That was also something like this. That when he began telling me the story of enzymes and all that. He told me about the variety that exists even in the Enzima language, and I was like, oh wow.
Yeah.
Though he was speaking a bit of broken English, I could clearly understand it. In fact, he used his money to fix my extension cord, change the cable, did everything for me for free. When I wanted to pay, he said no, I should take it away because he's met a Ghanaian brother.
Yeah. I mean, you know, like as for Africa, especially West Africa, we are the same people.
Oh yes.
We are exactly the same.
Only
people.
broken apart by imaginary lines and different so-called official languages.
You know how, like, I tell people all the time. You know how there's this perception that every Northerner speaks English. It's like Northerners speak English there, like.
And in fact, now they've added Hausa to it.
There's
a perception that every Northerner speaks Hausa.
Or that Northerners like speaking English. I'll tell you what. The reason is this. It is by necessity, not choice. So you see the way the North is. The North is populated by so many languages. And so I could be living in one village and another village that is just like 1 kilometer away from me. And the two villages would be speaking two different languages.
Oh, yes. It exists.
So how do you
identity?
Yes, not similar. This is not like
different.
This is different languages, not different dialects. People confuse those two. They can be dialects of the same language, but these are two different languages.
Yes, two different dialects,
but they understand each other.
Chi and Ewe.
Yes, a dialect or dialects are mutually intelligible.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
So being that when one speaks...
Fentuo, you really studied the English. Wow.
Linguistics.
Yes.
The
linguistics. So when dialects are mutually intelligible, two languages are not.
Yeah,
so if two forms of if two speakers can understand each other speaking different kinds of dialects, then it's probably the same language.
It's like example I gave. Fantichi.
Yeah, that's a perfect example. Exactly.
Dialects.
So they are dialects of the same language.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about in the North that exists.
Two different languages.
Two different languages. Yes.
So for instance,
let's say two villages.
Yes, Gary.
Gary
is speaking.
Yeah. So in 2019, as part of my work with UNICEF, we went to a village in the Upper West, I believe it was.
It's Upper West.
Wiala's place is what?
Upper West. We are from the same area.
Yes. So away from Susi. So the name of the village was Bazin. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Yeah.
Now, the free livable thing. Friends, literally 1.5 minutes drive away from Bazin was another village. Completely different language. Completely different everything. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Like I had never seen anything like that before. And the people of Bazin could not even understand. I'll find the name of the place. You know,
the people of the other village, which was 1.5 minutes from them.
1.5 minutes drive away. I'm not even kidding.
Yes. So that explains the point I was making about why a lot of Northerners speak the English.
Because the common...
Yes. So then and in linguistics we call it lingua franca. So you have to find a common language. And English just solves that problem. So when we go to Wa and you pick a Trotsky going to Tumu, there are the Gatis inside. There are Sisales inside. They are even Dagasi and Wale are mutually intelligible, but they are maybe Frafres inside. They are Kasim inside. You know, all of you don't understand each other, but you're in that Trotsky, you are all going to drop in one village after the other until you get to the last stop. So the only way you can communicate with each other is English, and that's how come a lot of Northerners speak English.
Have had to.
Yeah, you have to learn. Even when you haven't gone to school, you have to find a way of learning the English.
But
otherwise, moving around can become very difficult.
Of our language. So, for instance, there are certain words in Sisala when you speak, a Mamprusi can understand, a Dagomba can understand.
Yeah, those are just like words in. So like maybe the word father, right?
A Kasina will understand.
I'll give you a good example. So like maybe the word father. If you say the word father is Baba, if you go anywhere in the north and you say Baba or a form of Baba, everybody knows what you mean.